mage lock at all. If they're going to be playing Cubsy on the Druid, the blind pick, it's not going to be that. It's going to be Warrior Mage Paladin.
Well,
Okay.
I'm good with this.
We got a lot of Warrior Mage
You know what's
today,
weird
man.
about this? We've seen like so much Warrior Mage in the tournament, but I feel like on ladder I never see it.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I
wanna
never
play
see
it
Warrior
now,
Mage
though.
on the ladder.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely queuing this today.
You know what's odd is
Right
I
up.
feel like Warrior Mage Paladin is extremely good in these Mage Paladin mirrors, but I think, and I could be wrong, at least it used to really struggle against cleave setups. So with so many teams focusing on the Warrior Mage Paladin right now, this could be, the time for OTK to kind of shine with their different cleave setups. Wealthy Man getting hit very early on here by Jamili. Potentially looking for a Ring of Frost. Gets shut down by Snuts. Good denial. Spear of Bastion drops down, but it misses. Ooh, that's a super unfortunate Spear of Bastion there for Snuts, but both these teams exchanging blows. No major cooldowns have been traded out just yet. Hammer of Justice now on Corlic. He's Cloud9 looking to get really aggressive here. Jamili, is he going to be forced into the ice block? Cauterize. Can they get more? Blinding Light out on Corlic. Jamili barely holding on, and it looks like he will be able to hold on enough. Corlic connects the heals, and it looks like Jamili will be okay.
Yeah, it looks like it. Oh my goodness. Wealthy Man still holding on to his combustion, and Jamili just in his face at half health. That was a little scary. There we go. Polymorph goes out onto Corlic, the Stormbolt onto Jamili, and it just feels like Charlotte Phoenix is the one who's taking the brunt of the damage. Their sacrifice. Mirror images popped as well, trading out for the combustion from Wealthy Man. And so far, Cloud9 looks like they have their bearings just a little bit tighter than the other ones. There's a double DB to follow it up. No sacrifice now available or trinket for Corlic, and Jamili's got to keep that in his mind that it's basically the next button is up to him, whether it's cauterize or block. But Wealthy Man now getting locked out, just on fire. He's at half health. He can block if he needs to. Blind on a Cubsy. Wealthy Man looks to be okay. I love how these bops are just kind of like thrown out there, like almost like a trinket or something because of the spell steal. But Jamili's dangerously close to execute range. There's the cauterize. Full Hodge onto Corlic. Is this block too? Charlotte Phoenix, they are not feeling safe right now.
I mean, Cloud9 are close to just perfecting them. If they don't get, in my mind, if you don't get a block or a divine shield or a sacrifice, like you basically played a perfect game. You've shut down every single thing Charlotte Phoenix tried to do. And so far, 2 minutes straight, they've played perfectly, and they've gotten everything, really, from the side of Charlotte Phoenix. They're so close to victory in game number 1 here. Leaves another Blessing of Protection on Jamili. Nick leaps over to Fear Cubsy. Finally, counter pressure. Wealthy Man in trouble. They're going to trigger his Cauterize. They are not going to be absolutely blasted out of this game number 1. They're pushing for more. Stormbolt, Meteor, Kyrian Spear combo. I love the Meteor Spear combos from these Mage Warriors. It not only does it look beautiful, it also just hits really hard. Wealthy Man now having to block, and Charlotte Phoenix put themselves back in the game, but for how much longer? Corlic stunned up. Jamili in trouble. Dangerously low here. Corlic bubbles. Is that going to be enough? They proc the Wild Seed. They're going to absolutely cut it down. Cloud9 take game 1.
This was a really impressive performance. Cloud9, obviously, they've been getting a lot of practice with that Warrior Mage Paladin, claiming game number 1, but I'm still so interested by how this is the 4th time today we've seen a team lock in this composition in the blind. It seems really, really potent right now, and this whole tournament could come down to who's playing these mirrors better, and it seems like Cloud9, they're on fire so far.
That was a brutal mirror to start things off for Charlotte Phoenix. I watch them on Twitter a lot. I know that that team is hungry to perform, just unsatisfied with anything but first. And Cloud9, definitely one of those teams that you're going to have to get through and prove you're better to be at that top of the pyramid. And Cloud9 just kind of, I feel like they styled on him a little bit this game. I mean, that was crazy. That spear combo that you were talking about right there, Sid, is super potent. They did it one time and immediately got caught block. Boom. So if they can find more synergies like that, they can find more goes like that, be a little bit more patient with the Cauterize, find the right moments to force those buttons. I think it will make all the difference in these mirror matchups. But you were saying something earlier, Venricky, before Jamili rudely cut you off with his combustion about this matchup. But yeah, I was curious. Like, you're kind of the mage expert on and I feel like the mage plays such a big role in this matchup. I just wanted to hear more about that.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it comes a lot. First of all, I feel like it comes down to the coordination between all 3 members a lot. But such a huge part of this matchup is the warrior, and I played against Nuts. He is an absolute nightmare to deal with. The ability for these warriors to, mass reflect, use Intervene Reflect, Stormbolt you, Pummel you, Kyrian Spear you. You have insane denial on that warrior, and if you are on fire and you can deny other mages from getting crowd control or deny, their follow-up crowd control, you can really put your team ahead. And I think these warriors are really making a case for themselves here. Snuts, especially in that last game, I think had a phenomenal showing. And yeah, these mages have to be very careful, using their Dragon's Breath, faking interrupts, making sure they're not sheeping into Reflect. You can do things like Fire Blast the Reflect. So if you're going for like a polymorph, let's say you're going for like a focused polymorph on the Paladin, you can Fire Blast like 99% of the way through your cast to get off the Reflect and then land the polymorph. Little things like that can push you ahead in a matchup like this.
Look at how quickly as well both of these teams went through that draft process. They're both going to choose to mirror again. I wasn't looking at it very closely, but this is one of the quickest drafts we've
There's
had all day.
There's some pride on the line right now. For sure.
Definitely.
That type of lock-in, I feel, especially a mirror after you lose like that, I don't think there's a lot of logic going into that. I think that's no. I'm just warming up, bro. Queue up.
Really?
That's how I feel.
I think it might come down to these teams are just realizing this is the best comp that you can run. They're just like, yeah, there's nothing with this. Because I mean, realistically, what would Charlotte Phoenix play? They could play Rogue Mage Priest. That's something they've been playing a lot. They could play Rogue Mage Paladin. They could play Windwalker Mage Paladin.
Or just is this Warlock just not good against this at all?
No, I mean we saw it. Nazem, shout out to Nazem, but you see what happens when a warrior's on you the whole game. It's
block that out of your memory already, David.
A little bit. That's a good point. I don't know. I love to see mirror matchups, but I also want to point out that I do think Snuts has a lot of games on that warrior. I feel like we saw Nick play a rogue a lot. I know he's played a warrior a lot, but whenever I tune into Snuts streaming, he is constantly playing Ret Warrior with Quinn. And when you're in that composition like Ret Warrior, like playing safe, getting those clutch intervenes, being as disruptive as possible is such a key role in that matchup, in that composition. And I feel like that probably translates really well in these mirror matchups.
All right, let's see what they can get done here. Instant lock-ins from both sides. This is a battle of pride. Whose Warrior Mage Paladin will reign supreme here today in AWC Cup number 3? Charlotte Phoenix look to secure more points and secure that top 8. Jamili's popping off here with a combustion, trying to tear in. Will he find enough damage? You get Wealthy Man pretty low on health, but Cubsy's more than ready. Line of sighting at that pillar, healing through the oncoming attack. Jamili now taking some hits. Is Wealthy Man going to make a move here? Jamili's pinned down by that Spear Bastion. Cubsy's charging in off to the side, looking for crowd control. Hammers down. Polly is secured. Jamili's in trouble. Look how low health he is. Interrupted, just bouncing with Snuts on his back. Altering back, but getting cut down. Trading mirror images to reduce damage, but even still very low on health. Double blinding light. Beautiful play by Cubsy. Stormbolt on Jamili, and Corlick has to respond, trading his medallion and sacrifice. Now, Charlotte Phoenix need to attack. They're leading their charge with the Hammer of Justice on Cubsy, and they're getting some damage on Snuts, likely intervened over. Wealthy Man definitely the target. Full polymorph. They need a cooldown forced from this assault. What are they going to pull from Wealthy Man? Nick is desperately trying to connect. Snuts intervenes once again. This is the same crowd control we saw initiated onto Corlick by Cloud9. However, it's not banking out nearly the same for Charlotte Phoenix. Wealthy Man holds on at 20%, and Cloud9 don't have to trade.
No, certainly don't. Wealthy Man still incredibly low, though. Spear Bastion does drop down. Jamili now caught into a stun. Combustion not available for either one of these mages just yet, but Jamili will have his first Corlick right now. No trinket, no sacrifice, has the Divine Shield. Cubsy actually traded out his sacrifice, taking some of that redirected damage, but seems like they're just going to be ignoring him for now. He tops himself off. They're going for it. Full polymorph lands on Corlick. This could be a big trade here from Jamili if they're not careful. Cauterize, Ice Block available, but they hold on. Repolymorph comes in, but a heal sneaks in from Corlick, allowing Jamili to potentially hold on, and that will, of course, be the Alter Time. Great mage utility, nicely done there by Jamili, keeping himself alive. Charlotte Phoenix stabilized, and now they're going to be looking to strike back here with the full fear on Cubsy. How is Wealthy Man going to handle this?
We're going to have to wait and see. Full polymorph is on Cubsy. Wealthy Man jumping down to half health. He's doing a great job kiting around, getting the polymorphs off onto Jamili just to stop that pressure as much as he possibly can. Combust from Wealthy Man. He wants to get the momentum in his favor. Cross CC poly onto Nick. No CC on a Corlick just yet, but Jamili is taking huge damage. Corlick knows that CS is there. There's the blind to follow it up, but it doesn't look like it lands, but it doesn't matter. Caught and block forced. And I can't help but feeling like if Jamili starts pressing Combust when they have cross CC, when they have CC, Cubsy would have a lot less than Sack right now.
Okay. They're so close here to victory. Cloud9 are looking amazing in this matchup. Just an absolute domination at the moment. Corlick could easily die. He's stunned up behind the pillar trying to run away as that redirected sacrifice damage is tearing in. He manages to recover, but that dot is still ticking. They get crowd control on Cubsy. They need to get a caught here or a block. If they don't get a caught or a block here, man, they're infinitely behind. They're not finding it. They're behind on mana. They're behind on tempo. They're behind on cooldowns. Absolutely nothing going their way. Snuts leads the charge with intimidating shout. Wealthy Man blinks in. Warbanner drops from Nick to try and hit crowd control. Cubsy snipes it with a judgment. Corlick is hiding behind the pillar. Wealthy Man's getting blasted. Blinding light onto Cubsy by Corlick. Nice play, but Nick gets intercepted by a Dragon's Breath. Wealthy Man's in alter time. He gets polymorph reflected, so he's healing back to full. They're not going to find any damage onto Wealthy Man as a result. Jamilia is just hiding behind the pillar, but Snuts is absolutely smacking. Full Stormbolt. Wealthy Man blinking closer to Corlick. They know they've got this game in the bag. They drop the Spear Bastion. One more crowd control on Corlick. I think it's lights out for Charlotte Phoenix here in game 2. They're trying to pressure Wealthy Man away. They are doing a good amount of damage. Cubsy trades, but Jamili has to blink back, and Snuts is on top of both players. Corlick fakes out the pummel of Snuts and tries to get some heals, but there's the Hammer of Justice. Are they going to medallion out? There's almost endless crowd control available. Is there a blinding light? Cubsy gets stunned before he can go for it. Wealthy Man gets storm bolted on his way in. Nice denial here by Charlotte Phoenix. They're turning it around a bit, but big Divine Toll immediately stabilizes Wealthy Man. Corlick repositions. This is dicey. Playing on a razor's edge here in game 2, working with fumes to try and get anything out of Wealthy Man.
Yeah, let's see if they can. I mean, Charlotte Phoenix right now, there's just no cooldowns left. Snuts all over Jamili. He gets interrupted. Full blinding light on Corlick. He's got no mana. He's got no breaks. He's got no sacrifice. He's got nothing. The Wealthy Man is struggling to kind of find damage here. Jamili managing to hold on. The damage actually going out onto Wealthy Man. Cubsy in a prime position, though, with his wings. Divine Toll. Wealthy Man's going to be A-OK, and Jamili still just on the run for the better part of a minute here, just trying to buy Corlick a little bit of time to get that sacrifice off cooldown, and it is off cooldown in just a few seconds here, so there is that emergency lifeline, and that will trade from Charlotte Phoenix to keep Jamili alive. But where is the pressure? They need to find something here on Wealthy Man. He still has block, he still has cauterize. Nick's in a full polymorph. Pressure in favor of Cloud9. They need to find something here. Jamili trying to strike back. Wealthy Man looking for potential Ring of Frost. Corlick's getting low. He doesn't have the mana to actually keep himself alive. A Hammer of Justice. Corlick just throwing caution to the wind, trying to get the crowd control so they can get something from Wealthy Man. Jamili's still just on the run. Scorch move casting, trying to cross the map. He doesn't want anything to do with Wealthy Man right now. Just wants to be away from him, and he can. I mean, if he can get away from Wealthy Man, he can control Snuts with Dragon's Breath and Polymorphs, but it just seems like Charlotte Phoenix is on the back foot, and I don't know if they can recover.
I don't think they are. No block available, no sack, no trinket from Corlick or mana. They can survive as long as they want, but Snuts is not letting up, and there's the seed proc. Absolute just domination from Cloud9. From start to finish this entire game, I just feel like Cloud9 is just completely just playing with their food. That was a brutal thing to watch at the very end there. Jamili just trying to live and squirming, but I mean, from the very beginning, I feel like the momentum shift is all about how they synergize as a team. Whenever you see Wealthy Man using his combustions, it's because they got some sort of CC, they got some sort of blind Hodge, anything that, even if it's instant, on the healer. We're going to take a quick look at that replay at the last seconds of Jamili going down here. But I mean, if the cooldowns on either side of the screen kind of tell the story. If you're unfamiliar with the cooldowns of these classes, the big buttons that you need to look out for are Bubble and Trinket for the healers. Those are basically their get out of CC, get out of jail free cards. After that, the big buttons are Divine Toll and a Blessing of Sacrifice, as well as Ice Block and Cauterize on the mages. Those are the buttons that Cloud9 needs to get through to take down Jamili. And if you look on the other end of things, Wealthy Man held that block, all game? I don't think he blocked a single time. I mean, Sacrifice was rotated periodically, but from mana expenditure, from cooldown usage, from cross CC, Cloud9 beat Charlotte Phoenix pretty handily that game.
They absolutely did, David. Already up 2-0 right now. And I feel like the thing about this series, we look at Charlotte Phoenix and they're playing this game really well. They're pretty solid in this composition here, but they are up against Cloud9 in a mirror, which is very, very difficult, and that's just not going to be an easy task for anyone. So Cloud9 going to be up 2-0 right now. Loser of this series drops down to the lower bracket, but I don't know. Do we feel like Supatees, they're going to go for another mirror for game number 3?
I mean, I'm just trying to look at their builds to see if there's like anything that is standing out to me. The only thing I see really that seems significant is that Jamili is opting to have his counter spell be a lower cooldown with Grounding Surge, whereas Wealthy Man wants a reduced cooldown on Blink. So maybe, I mean, that might just be the difference, right? If Wealthy Man is able to get away one more time from the Warrior than Jamili is, and then that's the difference of a connection that is getting a cooldown. That's one thing I know. Snuts is opting to choose an improved version of Rallying Cry, so the Rallying Cry lasts longer, so they don't need to worry about it falling off as soon, whereas Nick is preferring Safeguard for damage reduction when he intervenes. And those are like the two big ones that stood out to me, but I feel like that Blink, maybe Jamili should consider changing it. Yeah. I mean, how valuable is it that you get to counterspell 4 seconds faster? Like, that's not another DR window, is it? Like, it's the same roughly the same cooldown as Dragon's Breath no matter what, I would think, even with 4 seconds off.
It's only, keep in mind too, you have to interrupt as
well.
Yeah,
if you fail, you get no value.
Off. Exactly. I feel like a lot of this matchup comes down to getting away from the Warrior. Like, getting away from the Warrior, having that Shimmer mobility, I think is really, really important, but it's these little decisions that these players make, and Jamili's opting to go for potentially, well, he is going for the lower cooldown on Counterspell if he can land it on Wealthy Man, but a lot of the time, as a mage, you're going to be caught into a Stormbolt when Wealthy Man's going for crowd control anyway, so it can be difficult to end up landing that, but I just think Cloud9 is just looking like, at this point, a really well-oiled machine. They're working together, the three of them. Cubsy, when he pushes in for crowd control, Snuts is always landing the Stormbolts on Jamili. Wealthy Man, at the same time, is getting off those combustions. He's getting the follow-up crowd control before he pushes in to get CC on Korlek. He's controlling up Nick. And Cloud9, they're just pulling out far ahead in this one. But it's kind of the nature of these matchups. Something Zico often says is these matchups can seem really, really one-sided, but it's because they kind of snowball out of control. And
right,
for Charlotte Phoenix, they can kind of find their bearing in this matchup. They can get that momentum in their favor, and it can seem like, Cloud9's completely on the back foot. So definitely can't count Charlotte Phoenix out for this one. All it takes is, a couple good interrupts, a couple CC denial, and then all of a sudden you're way behind on cooldown. So super volatile, intense matchup.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Ven. We're going to get these teams loaded up soon here. Just as a reminder, Charlotte Phoenix one loss away from being dropped down to the lower bracket. They've both been not shying away from these mirrors as well, which, given the history of this team, Jamili especially, D-Machine, this is a very confident player. So honestly, I'm really not surprised that they're opting to stick with this composition here.
Yep, nope, I'm thinking the same thing you are. But just like Elliot said earlier, Jamili, notably an aggressive player, which I absolutely love. So when you're seeing someone jump in like that, if they're able to swing the momentum in their favor, they will be ferocious. They will not let up on the aggression, just like you saw there. Snuts chased Jamili basically to the ends of earth and back, and it just the pressure just overwhelmed them. And so if that can be swapped on their head, if Charlotte Phoenix can synergize and take that aggression and just stay motivated and focused here on match point, it very easily could swing in their favor. And who knows, they could very easily take the series if they can figure out this team.
All right, they don't have any more opportunities. They have to take it and reverse sweep at this point, or they'll be sent down to that lower side of the bracket. Cloud9 looking good on this Warrior Mage Paladin. Nick leaping in for an aggressive fear, really trying to take it to Cloud9. How much pressure will they get? It's actually Jamili on the back foot. Nick spears Wealthy Man, but no one's really there to help him. He gets Dragon's Breath. No value on that spear whatsoever. Combustion number one out of the way for Jamili. Cloud9 in a good position here. Double Blinding Light, but it's on diminishing return. This seems like a mistake, but they go for the hammer anyway. Maybe they can capitalize on it, get some value out of this crowd control chain towards the tail end with a Ring of Frost ending in 1 second, but no, it will be denied by the Rallying Cry of Snuts. Now Jamili in trouble, caught in that Spear Bastion. Snuts blade storming, getting a ton of pressure out. Jamili has to mirror image to try and stabilize. Is those mirror images damage reduction going to be enough at half health? Korlek locked down in a blinding light. Jamili still at half health. Snuts charges to connect over to him. 1 more second on that blinding light. Korlek comes out, but is it enough? 1% health here. Sacrifice trades for Jamili just in the nick of time before that cauterized. But when Cloud9 make their setups, it just looks so much more clean.
No, I mean, certainly at the beginning of the game, Jamili threw out his meteor, he used combustion, and Wealthy Man wasn't even in a stun. He just moved out of it. Kleptomania, canceled it. Jamili got effectively zero value I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, Cloud9, they're just working together as a team to get their setups. Wealthy Man now getting bursted down as Charlotte Phoenix looking to strike back, but at the same time, I mean, Corlick, no sacrifice, no trinket, no blessing of protection. Jamili in some trouble here. Corlick trying to do everything he can to keep him alive and healthy. Wealthy Man in a prime position to potentially find some crowd control. Maybe a polymorph, so Snuts gets freedomed out of that Frost Nova. That will allow him some more uptime here onto Jamili as both these teams do stabilize. Mana still in favor of Cloud9. Cubsy now pushing in, looking for crowd control, and this is where Cloud9 wants to get aggressive. Full Hammer of Justice lands. Jamili in a Spear of Bastion. Great setup here. This is the combustion of Jamili, and Wealthy Man actually not spell stealing it off, so this is why you're seeing them follow behind on damage and why Cubsy's having to trade so big. Sacrifice trades, and he needs to catch up on healing. I mean, Wealthy Man is still so low. This is a great swing of momentum for Charlotte Phoenix.
It's exactly what needs to happen. That's why I keep criticizing Ja on his use of that combust, because it's so impactful. Nice Alter Time is going to top him, no problem right there, saving another button out of Corlick's spellbook. And now Wealthy Man's in trouble. He has the combust up, but he's storm bolted at half health. His Cubsy does not have that sacrifice available because of that combustion earlier. No trinket as well, and they very easily could force an ice block if they get any CC on the Cubsy. There's the blind, but Wealthy Man is out of there, and so is Jamili. Both these mages simultaneously trying to reduce the damage from the Warriors' onslaught while also getting cross CC. Wealthy Man's rings on this pillar are so good. Full Ring of Frost lands. Jamili's got to have his cauterize. He gets interrupted as well. Snuts smells blood in the water. Is this going to be cauterized? Polymorph to follow it up. Jamili is out of there. He's trying to get away from Snuts as best he can. He reconnects. He's in execute range. This could be it. Stormbolt to follow it up. Corlick desperately trying to hold on to that cauterize as best as he possibly can. Now Cubsy in a Hodge. Wealthy Man getting turned around on double DB from Jamili. He's trying to take control. Fear onto Corlick. Sacrifice finally forced. And though that's another button, and he gets topped off of that. But this is a much better game from Charlotte Phoenix. I think that they're using their combustion a little bit better. I think that they are rotating their offensive cooldowns a little bit better. But that sacrifice nerf is feeling it on Corlick. What the heck? He almost died.
Okay, Corlick and Jamili are running laps on the bottom side of the map, trying to drag Cloud9 and find an opening. And they're maybe going to go after Snuts a little bit here. Cubsy and Wealthy Man are chasing and pursuing and trying to keep their lead. Maybe they sit back for a drink actually here. Is Corlick going to go for a drink? Are both Paladins going to drink? It looks like both Paladins want to drink. Wealthy Man's in trouble. Cubsy can't stay sitting down. Corlick got mana back in that exchange, at least slightly ahead of Cubsy, and may even try to go for another drink. Snuts avataring out of the Frost Nova. Actually misses his Warbreaker. Jamili blinks that. Nice blink timing from Jamili. That's going to be a lot of damage lost for Snuts. Nick is trying to stay on target, gets polyed again. Spear Bastion comes down on the Vulpin and a Stormbolt. Nice counter by Snuts, making up for that Warbreaker, definitely getting value there. Corlick has to Divine Shield. Snuts is trying to stay on target. Jamili soul shaping in, blinking, trying to get a poly, lands it on Cubsy. Beautiful piercing howl on Snuts there by Nick, snaring Snuts right before he could get to interrupt Jamili. Jamili recovering here. Corlick in a blinding light. Gonna trinket out. Cubsy trinkets out as well there. Both Paladins trading evenly. Mana is coming down to the wire here. Just 15 seconds until dampening. Jamili is in trouble. Snuts is blade storming all over him, stunning the shifting power, really tearing in. This is just all Warrior versus Mage 1v1. Who gets the better exchange? Who can blink the Warbreakers? Warbreaker from Snuts gonna connect there. Big quake of damage, timing it with the intimidating shout. Beautiful play. Nick intervenes back, giving Jamili the safeguard. 25% damage reduction, but even 25% damage reduction not looking too safe. Jamili gets a Frost Nova, gets Dragon's Breath on his Frost Nova. He has to Dragon's Breath back to try and get some distance here towards the staircase. Cubsy's drinking. He doesn't care if Snuts is in a poly. He wants that mana advantage, and they've got it.
This is big. Cubsy recovering a lot of his mana there, going to around 40%. Wealthy Man still every cooldown, and Cloud9 is looking prime for a 3-0. Charlotte Phoenix, they need to strike back to get the crowd control on Cubsy. Where's the damage to follow it up? Wealthy Man with the beautiful altar time. Jamili unfortunately not going to be able to dispel that. Wealthy Man going back in time, getting the crowd control here onto Corlick. Jamili now low, looking for a Ring of Frost. Finds it. Both these teams just so back and forth. Both these mages in a little bit of trouble. Paladins have the cooldowns to trade. Cubsy's the one with the Divine Shield, though. Corlick, he has no crowd control breaks. He's going to have to pre-sacrifice the next incoming crowd controller. Jamili could be in big trouble, and it could be his ice block. The only thing I'd say Cloud9 really has going for them at this point is the fact that they were able to sneak away and drink, and I don't think Corlick's going to have that same luxury, but as soon as I say that, he does sneak away, get about 10% mana left. A Flame Strike shuts that down from Wealthy Man. This Cloud9 looking to make a push, and Jamili just playing very defensive right now, just pulling away from Snuts, not opting to go for crowd control himself. just opting to survive. He needs to buy a little bit more time. Wealthy Man getting interrupted. Cubsy sitting down for a drink right on the box. He gets a little bit more mana there. Sacrifice trades by Corlick as well. The redirected damage chunking him down. Snus just rips in to Jamili. Spear of Bastion now drops down. And Cloud9 wants to end this game.
I think it's over soon, Ben. No mana is such a big deal. Jamili has that block and available, but he doesn't want to use it. He's been so defensive, trying to rotate and keep up with Cloud9. And Cloud9's like, oh, you want to keep up with our defensive rotation? Sick. Here's a full drink. That's such a disheartening thing for Cubsy to do, but awesome presence of mind from Cloud9 to constantly be thinking about that win condition. Jamili he might just get cauterized. The proc right now. Stormbolt goes out. There's cauterized proc and the block. No mana, no bubble, no sack. Shattering throw. Jamili is out of there. This has to be the end for Charlotte Phoenix.
Ooh, that Frost Nova gets freedomed out by Cubsy, and Snuts reflects the poly, gets DB'd for a moment. Out of that DB, though, that's going to be it. He fears Jamili to hold him in place, connects the Warbreaker, big hits on Jamili, proccing the Wild Seed, looking to cut it down. There's nothing to answer. Cloud9 are absolutely insane in this series. 3-0.
That was such an impressive performance. You got to give it up to Charlotte Phoenix, though. Game number 1 looked a lot worse than game number 3, so definitely learning as that went on. So going down to the lower bracket, who did they actually play in the lower bracket? Are they going against Method NA?
I think they're going against
they're going up against Method NA.
Okay, well, at least they got